Alright, this is division of decimals with invented strategies. So when I'm given a decimal, I usually like to relate it to money if I can. So when given this problem, I should really be consistent with this, my zeros. Okay, so when given this problem, you might freak out a little bit at first, but if you look at it, this is 75 cents divided by 5 cents. So that's 3/4 and 1 nickel. So this is asking you how many nickels are equivalent to 3/4. This should not be very difficult for you because you know that there are 5 nickels to be equivalent to 1/4. So therefore, 3/4 would have to be 15 nickels, which would mean the answer to this problem, how many 5/100ths fit into 75/100ths, is 15. Relating decimals to money really puts it in perspective. It gives it a context so that you can think about it much easier. Okay, let's see. Another invented strategy for division of decimals. Excuse me. Okay, so sometimes I like to change my decimals into fractions. So for example, if I'm given 25/100ths divided by, let's see, let's do 1/10. Okay, so we know that 25/100ths is the same as 1/4. The reason I know that is because there are 4 quarters in a dollar, or 4/25ths in a whole. So 1/4 divided by, when you read this as 1/10 instead of 0.1, 1/10, that gives you the fraction. Okay, so now that I have 1/4 divided by 1/10, this looks easier to me than this does. I don't know about you, you might think about decimals easier than fractions, but I would prefer to work with fractions. Because now that it's in fraction form, you can either leave, change, flip, which that is the same as 5/2, which is also 2 1/2. Do you see how fast I did that? When it was in fraction form. Or, once you do this, you can do any of the invented strategies in my other video on how to divide fractions. There are so many ways that you can do this, but this is how I like to solve decimals if I can't put them into or relate them to money. This one I could, and I could have done it as well because this would be a nickel. So how many nickels are in a quarter? And it would be 2 nickels and half a nickel. I mean dimes. This would be a dime. I don't know why I'm saying nickel. How many dimes fit into a quarter? You know that 2 dimes go into a quarter, and then you would need a half a dime, which this would actually be a nickel, but we're going to ignore that part. So putting them back into fractions is very simple for me. I don't know about you. Okay, so for manipulatives with dividing decimals, you can use, again, these place value pieces. This is going to be my 100th, this is a 10th, and this would be a whole. So let's say we're given that same problem. So we have 25 hundredths, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, there's my 25 hundredths, and I need to divide it by 1/10 or 10 hundredths. It's the same thing, because if I try to divide it by 1/10, that's not very easy to see, but I can break this up into 10 pieces or 10 hundredths. So I'm going to start counting 10 pieces, 10 blocks. So 4, 8, 10, 5, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right here, I have 2 groups of 10. But right here, I only have 5 hundredths. And I know that 5 hundredths is half of a tenth. So I'm going to put 1/2. So this right here shows you that your answer is 2 1/2.